against the DC Defenders, 3-1 versus 3-1. What can you talk about this big game coming up?
Yeah, I played them quite a few times my career. Good front, good back end, good overall, good defense. Coach Williams does a good job with them in the back end. A lot of familiar faces that have been there the last couple of years, so you can tell they're a tight-knit group, and they've been together for a while. So excited to be a big challenge, but we're ready for it.
Yeah, one player that's been there for a while is Jordan Tiamo. Talk about him as a competitor and quarterback.
Yeah, he's awesome. Great guy. Got to know him, obviously from being around all these spring leagues. So good friend of mine, great player. Excited to compete against him. And then defenders, it's gonna be a good time. I'm excited.
Yeah, and on that front, the spring king, I noticed that you gave a lot of credit to Curt Warner as well as Drew Brees. Can you talk about their impact and you as a player?
Yeah, I'll start with Drew Brees. So Drew Brees and I got connected through a coach of mine, Todd Durkin, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity to be with him and be able to just see him and shadow behind him and see how he operates. So that was great for me. It was from 2014 to like 2020, I believe. Those 5-6 years were huge for me in development. Being able to see how he flies his guys out, way he communicates with one another, etc., X's and O's, all that stuff. So that was really big for me. And then Curt Warner, obviously an inspiring story, right, similar to mine. He's kind of someone I look up to. He's arena football till he was 29, 30 years old, and I'm kind of in that same path, right? Alternative league, trying to make it to the NFL. So he's been a great resource for me, and grateful to have him in my life.
And finally, the Spring King, we're right around the 30-day, I guess, release of the book. Talk about your thoughts on looking back at it 30 days later, about you telling your story to the world.
Yeah, no, it's been great feedback from everyone. It's been awesome. Great to hear. I get DMs all the time. I get, messages from people that reach out and say, how inspiring it was and how, just helpful it was, right? And that's what it's about. I wrote it to impact people, right? So that's what it's about. And I'm still trying to push it to more people, to get to more lives. But yeah, no, I think it was a success, and it's going to continue to build moving forward.
Appreciate it. Best wishes this weekend.
Thank you, Alan.
Hey, Luis, appreciate you taking the time with us as always. Isaiah Winstead's really kind of emerged this year as one of your top targets in that wide receiver room. I know last year he was kind of inactive for a few weeks dealing with some injuries, but this year, one of your go-to guys and really someone who can make those contested catches in traffic. What's it been like, just building more chemistry with him this year alongside the entire wide receiver corps?
Yeah, Zay's been great. He stepped it up this camp, and he really took big strides. He's hungry. He's a worker. He's dedicated to the game. And, you get what you put in the game. And he's been putting in a lot of work. And it's a really smart player. He has all the attributes. He's fast. He's strong. He can block. He has it all. Good size. So I'm excited to see him develop and continue to just get better throughout the year. And I think sky's the limit for him, and the best is yet to come.
You guys are playing a hungry DC defense this week, one of the best defensive units in the league. Obviously, Arlington as well up there. What are you kind of looking at right now with Blake Williams kind of taking over that unit? Obviously, a lot of the same wrinkles that Greg has. What are some of the keys for you offensively to try to get a win this weekend?
Yeah, they got a really good front. So, getting the ball out fast is going to be big. Getting the guys in space, hitting guys in space and making our guys, just do what they do, right? Make them miss tackles and move the chains, right? And try not to get behind the chains early. That's our big emphasis this week is don't get in 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13. Stay ahead of the chain, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. If we can do that, we'll be fine.
And for yourself personally, obviously it hasn't been a perfect season so far. What might be a couple of areas that you think you need to improve on yourself to keep Arlington on the right track moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's just taking one play at a time. That's all it is. Executing the play that coach calls and do it to the best of my ability, and that's all I can do, right? So I think that's where I'm at with it. And whatever's to come is to come. Our defense is playing great. Offense, we're going to clean some things up and continue to get better. And I think the best is yet to come.
And then final question for me, we kind of talked about it a bit already. You played DC a ton of times in this league. Do you have any? Obviously you beat them in the championship, but is there maybe one memory that comes to mind specifically from a game that's just one of your favorites from playing DC?
The championship game was obviously, that's up there. And then last home game last year, or their last home game last year against us. That was a really good game, back and forth game. We were able to score, I think, with like less than a minute and a half left or something, and then we were able to close it out. So that was a good way to end our season. So I would say those two.
Right on. Appreciate your time, Luis. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.